Hey you guys, what's up? This is James here at Unique Perspectives. I'm actually outside the laundromat close to my house. Decided to make a quick video though because I had something on my mind, and yeah, just wanted to address something that I thought was very important. This is Unique Perspectives. Of course, I'm James. Please like and subscribe. I'm definitely going to be sharing some more content. Been doing this YouTube thing for almost 7 months now, so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the interactions. Yeah, let's get into the topic at hand. So I think it was yesterday that I was actually doing something at home. I was relaxing, chilling. I received a phone call from one of my closest friends, and it turns out that he was actually in jail. And I have to say it was a little uncomfortable, definitely, to say the least, because I just realized this because I've never been in this, I've never been in this position before. But I actually had to, use my debit card information so I can even have the opportunity to speak to him. Turns out you have to make some type of account so somebody in jail can talk to you. Really put me in a very, definitely in a very interesting position, But I thought to myself, it was very interesting that my buddy, he pretty much has been dealing with a lady that, quite frankly, he probably shouldn't have been dealing with, and he's seen a lot of the red flags over the past, few months he's been dealing with her. Definitely seen some stuff, been through some stuff with her. I've actually talked to him about these encounters quite a bit. So he's seen the worst of the worst in her, and there are times when he was just trying to step up because, they have other connections with one another, that I'm going to say, long story short, they are bringing a child into this world, and so he was trying to step up, even though this woman has displayed like a very unruly, behavior. I have to say, I don't want to necessarily talk about his situation, but I do want to talk about the idea of really considering being with people that, quite frankly, we shouldn't even be with. Now, I will say that there's people that I've met that have actually done the dating relationship thing in a very healthy manner. I know some very healthy couples that they're paying bills, they're doing very well for themselves, they're in a nice house, they have a good retirement, they can afford to move to different states. They're doing well. They're doing it the way God intended for them to do it. And one of the things I love about the relationships I have with people, who are, in these very healthy relationships, healthy marriages, is that they often minister to me and talk to me and encourage me about, how to obtain that, which of course every Bible-believing Christian, should be aware of. There's constant verses in the Bible that encourage us to minister to one another, to protect one another, and especially for ladies that are older and more experienced, that are married or widows, to minister to the younger generations, So I love that I have access to these amazing people that actually will invite me to their homes and watch movies with me and have studies with me and hang out with me, and just remind me not to give up on the idea of having, a marriage and things like that, because obviously I'm not married, But yeah, but one of the elements that I'm also hear from these healthy relationships is really how to identify a partner, Now, one of the Bible verses that I committed to memory just to kind of anchor me into a healthy standard when it comes to what I should be looking for in a relationship is, Proverbs 31:30. And now anybody who knows me knows that I quote this very often because it hits home for me. It really just provides a very clear standard for what a man of God should be seeking when it comes to a partner. And, it says, Proverbs 31:30, a charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. So the idea is, yes, beauty has its position. I believe it's Genesis 29 verse 17, where we have an example of God, really even emphasizing the beauty of one sister over the other when it comes to two sisters, Rachel and Leah, So there is a difference in attractiveness, physical attractiveness. It's very true. That can be a very significant role when it comes to even just dating and relationships. Obviously as a man, I am easily visually stimulated. I want to be with somebody that I'm physically attracted. I believe every man wants that. In fact, I would even go as far as to say, I'm sure women would like that as well. Somebody that they're actually attracted to. With that being said, just because somebody is physically attractive, maybe, the guy's very tall and the ladies love that, or the guy has a lot of money and there's a lot of ladies that love that, or the woman has a very beautiful body, or she is the right height. And a lot of us guys, we appreciate that. Physical attributes are important, and I would never want to toss them aside. I think there are a lot of people that live in a delusion when they give this impression that even as Christians, that doesn't matter. I think that's very foolish to say something like that. I want to be inspired to, even be intimate and touch my wife when I get married. And the only way that's going to happen is if I'm physically attracted to her. I don't want her bigger than me. I don't want her, somebody that's, rude and she's damaged at the point where there's no improvement with her attitude. But we have to be mindful that physical attractiveness has its role. But if we allow that to only be the only thing, we're going to get ourselves in trouble. And I even want to go as far as talking about the promiscuity aspects of things. There are a lot of men and women that they know for a fact they're not going to marry a person, but they're just looking for a good time. They're just looking for a moment of release and sexual fun. And there are prices that come with doing those things. I can't tell you how many family members I have that they just was, they were just trying to have a little fling, trying to have some fun, and then they decided that, I don't know, they decided that, they decided that they were going to be intimate with somebody, and then, they ended up having like a baby, and they already can't really truly stand each other because they never really properly dated one another. They never really evaluated each other's character. They never looked at, and asked important questions, That's another thing I would like to address is asking necessary questions when it comes to relationships. There are a lot of us that we look at somebody and we look at their beautiful teeth or their height or they're attractive or they're tall or whatever else, and we're not asking them necessary questions that we should be asking regarding like trying to build a foundation with them, For me personally, if I'm considering being with somebody, I want to know, what is the woman's perspective on, a marriage. I want to know a lady's perspective on, spanking children, or I want her perspective on, all these different things that are important. Money management, a relationship's not going to work if we're both handsome and pretty and we're both reckless with money. We're going to need somebody that's going to be responsible in the relationship, And so it's just something that I think that we all need to consider when it comes to relationships is looking at the bigger picture, looking and considering those important questions. Like I said, and not only like what is your partner's or potential partner's philosophy on spanking, but what is their role or their position on honoring God? You have some people, many false converts that will tell you up and down they love God, but you don't see any evidence in their life. They're going to church on Zoom, and they don't care about, physically walking into the church and being amongst God's people like an actual Christian, but they have no issue driving all kinds of distances, or they have no issue with sacrificing their time and energy for money, and obviously we have to work, the Bible teaches if you don't work, you don't eat. Totally understand that. But yeah, if you're willing to put more effort in just your job and you're not willing to invest as much time with your study, with your relationship with God, ministering to others, being involved with God's people, that's a problem. That's a problem, and that's something I would look for. That for me, that's a red flag. And I think there's a lot of people that, and maybe this is just another element I want to kind of rant about, is there are a lot of people that believe that they can save people just because you have the right intentions of trying to connect with somebody and love them and honor them and stuff like that. You can't change a person. I think that sometimes there's a lot of us that come into a relationship, women especially, but there are men as well. I've been guilty of this, where I seen a lady that had some serious problems or psychological issues, emotional issues, and I thought, okay, well, if I just stick around and tolerate this, well, I'll just heal them over time with my presence. But that's not how life works. That's not how life works. Only God can change someone. And then there's other variables like a person's maturity. And are they willing to actually put aside foolish practices and unhealthy practices with how they deal with issues, how they deal with arguments, how they deal with things like that. But I think it's important to keep in mind, we don't have the authority to, try to fix people. And I think one of the things I at least want to address, and this is going to be one of my last final points, is making sure that person that we date, the person that we, and I already emphasized this, but I really want to emphasize this again. The person that we're considering being with, that we're going to potentially share our body with, that we're going to potentially share our lives with, get married to. Not only do we have to ask necessary questions, but we need to pay attention to what type of character or personality and attributes and all these different things, their level of integrity. Who are they right now? And I think there's a lot of us that believe that, again, marriage is going to somehow save and fix everything. If we get married to somebody reckless, they're going to just turn into the ideal spouse. And that's not how life works. You have to pay attention to who it is a person shows you who they are right now, while they're still single. If somebody's reckless when they're single, they're going to just bring that recklessness into your marriage. If they're somebody who loves drama and they're argumentative, they're always trying to fight and be combative, it's just a matter of time before, they bring that into your relationship. And then some of us, we're so surprised when we're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of consequences that come with being reckless with our lives and trying to connect with people. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's not the other people that are destructive and toxic. Sometimes it's us. Sometimes we are the problem. Sometimes, there are a lot of us still under the illusion that we're the good guy of the story all the time, when even if every time we're going into a relationship, we are destroying them, and we don't calculate and realize, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm the common denominator. Why my relationships are not working. That first one, that second one, that third one, that fourth one, that fifth one, that 10th one, which is sad. And I know people currently in that position. They still have not figured out they are the problem, even though some people have been trying to tell them. They still don't believe it, And so I just, I have a lot on my mind because obviously, somebody very close to me was trying to do the right thing to some extent. And don't get me wrong, they have been very open and accountable for their actions because, they're aware that they should not have dealt with this person in the first place. But this is the consequences that come with not thinking through our decisions when it comes to who it is that we're going to be with, And I think that some of us, we assume that we're going to just have a little quick fling. And I can't tell you how many times I've met people that invested 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years of their lives with somebody that didn't even take them seriously since day one. Yeah, that person did you wrong, but you chose them. And it's the same thing with people that have children with different partners, It's like every single partner you had, you chose them, And so it's important just to be accountable for that, but also learn from it, learn from it. So yeah, if anything, guys, I just want to share, and, I know I'm ranting. Usually I try to have like systematic points to, I just kind of ranted on this one. So I don't know how receptive you guys are going to be with this, but definitely ask necessary questions when you're dating somebody, important questions, and don't hesitate to touch on those important questions almost immediately. People need to know, if you're a Christian, that you're not going to take certain things. Make sure that you understand that if the person is a Christian and they love God, they're actually demonstrating. Pay attention to their relationships, pay attention to their language, their attitude, their personality. All those different elements you want to know up front who it is that you're dealing with, because you don't want to find yourself in jail over somebody that maybe you should have been avoiding all this time, So God bless you guys. Take care. This is James here at Unique Perspectives. If you have any thoughts, because I know probably do have a lot of thoughts, if you made it to the end of this video, please, I would love to hear your thoughts. God bless you guys. Take care. Peace. And see you on the next one. Bye.